Welcome to Workplace and Apprenticeship 20. This is outcome 20.10 on proportional reasoning, and this is lesson 2 where we're going to be doing one-step conversions. So what we're going to be doing today is looking at converting between units. So you are going to need the formula sheet that you got at the beginning of the year because it has all of our conversions on it. Within the metric system, it's not so bad, we're just moving decimal places, but when we get into the imperial system, the numbers are not things that we would remember. So let's just dive right into it. So we're going to do some metric conversions to begin with. So I've written out, this is at the top of your formula sheet, but I've written out the metric system right here using meters as my base unit. Remember, you could have grams, liters, whatever. It's the prefixes that we're concerned about: kilo, hecto, deca, deci, centi, and milli. So basically what you want to do is you want to identify where you're starting, where you're going, and count the places in between. It's my real high-tech strategy, but it works for me. So in this question, I'm at centimeters. So here's centimeters, and I want to get to meters. So I count 1, 2. I would need to hop 2 to the left, so that those hops represent the movement of the decimal. So in a number, remember that the decimal is at the end if you don't see it, and I want to hop it 2 spots to the left. So this becomes 24.35 meters. Please don't round, keep all those digits in there. Don't make it 24.4 or something like that. Just keep them all in there. In number 2, I'm at kilograms and I want to go to milligrams. So kilo, and I want to go to milli. So I need to hop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots to the right. So I take my decimal, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm out of spaces. So I have to go 2 more, which means I'm going to add zeros on at the end, 2 of them. So this will become 3,5,4,0,0 milligrams. Okay, and the last one there is milliliters to centiliters. So milli to centi. I'm here and I need to hop 1 spot to the left. So I'm going to take that decimal and move it 1 spot to the left, and that will become 7.25. Okay, so metric conversions are very easy. The way that you'll recognize them is when you say the units, like if you actually say the words that the abbreviations represent. Centimeters, meters, we hear the word meters twice. Kilograms, milligrams, we hear the word grams twice. Milliliters, centiliters, we hear the word liters twice. So if there's repetition of the word, then you know that it's a metric conversion and you're just moving the decimal. Okay, now we're going to look at conversions containing the imperial system. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do them. The first one, we can always use a proportion, but I'm going to also introduce this method of the conversion fraction because the next unit, or the next section, sorry, is going to be two or more step conversions. And proportions get pretty clunky and not very nice to use when we have to do multiple steps. So I want to go from feet to yards. So the first thing that we do, or we need to have that formula sheet out in front of us. And if I want to use a conversion fraction, this is the way that it goes. You write down what you were given. So I've got 42, including the units. So 42 feet. Okay, then you're going to set up a fraction. And we need to find the conversion that contains feet and yards. So if you go to your conversion sheet, you will find that it says that 1 yard equals 3 feet. Okay, so we're going to use that because that's going to get me in between those 2 units. What we need to do is we need to use the idea that if things are, so right now this is on the top of my fraction, right? This would be like over 1 here. Looking at the words, we know that if I had the same thing on the top and the bottom of a fraction, they would cancel away. So feet is up top here. So I'm going to set up my proportion or my conversion fraction so that feet is in the bottom, because what that's going to do is it's going to make those units cancel away. So feet, and the other part of my conversion I'm using is yards. So yards are going to go on top. Okay. Then I take the numbers that are in there. So I know that 1 yard is 3 feet. So I've got 1 yard is 3 feet. Now I'm going to just do the math. I see that my feet cancel away. I will be left with yards, which is what I wanted to. I multiply across the top. 42 times 1 is equal to 42. And on the bottom, 1 times 3 is equal to 3. And 42 divide 3 is equal to 14 yards. Okay, so my answer is 14 yards. So that's one way of doing it. The other way that you can do it is definitely just to set up a proportion. So what we would do there is usually I would take my unknown value. So I'm looking for X yards. So basically write the question to begin with. X yards is equal to 42 feet. Sorry, I just basically rewrite the question, but I usually like to have my unknown in the top left-hand corner. And then I'm going to take my conversion fraction and set it up so that the units are parallel. So I'm going to go yards on the left, feet on the right. So I have 1 yard and 3 feet. I make a proportion. Then we can cross multiply and solve, right? Or like we can see here that it's just x over 1, which is just x. So 42 divided by 3 is equal to 14. So I get the same answer either way. Okay, let's do 68 miles. So I'm going to start with the conversion fraction. So 68 miles. And I need to go to my formula sheet and find the miles kilometers conversion. So I'm looking, I can find one that says 1 mile equals 1.6093 kilometers. There's also one that says 1 kilometer is 0.6214 miles. You can use either one. I just the one that I came across first. Now I want to set my units up across from one another, one top, one down. So this is going to be 1 mile is 1.6093 kilometers. Looking only at my units, the miles cancel away, I'm left with kilometers. So then I just take my calculator and go 68 times 1.6093, and I get 109.4 kilometers. Okay. Again, if you wanted to do it with a proportion, you can go x kilometers equals 68 miles. I've got 1.6093 kilometers is 1 mile. I would need to cross multiply and solve. So x times 1 is x, and 1.6093 times 68 will get you the 109.4 kilometers. Okay, so either way works for me. In these next examples, I'm going to choose just one and show them. So centimeters to inches, I will do this one with a conversion fraction. So 14 centimeters. Then I'm going to make a fraction. So I find my centimeters and inches. And I can see that 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. That's my conversion from my sheet. Okay, so I'm going to set it up. I need centimeters on the bottom, inches on the top. So 1 inch, 2.54 centimeters. You can see that my centimeters will go away. So on the top, I've got 14 times 1. If you need to see this here, 14 times 1 is 14 over 2.54 equals 5.5 inches. Okay, 12 hours into minutes. So that one I will set it up as a proportion if you want. Again, it doesn't matter. So I've got x minutes equals 12 hours, just basically rewriting the question. And then what I know from my sheet when I go down to the time one is that I have 60 minutes is 1 hour. Again, lining up your units. So I'm going to cross multiply. X times 1 is x, and 60 times 12 is 720. Okay, this 37 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. This one is actually, it's just a formula. So I want to calculate Fahrenheit. So I'm going to use the one that has Fahrenheit isolated. 1.8 C minus 32 is my formula. So I go 1.8 times 37 minus 32. And I get 34.6 degrees. Oh, actually, this should be plus 32, not minus 32. Sorry, no, that didn't seem right. 1.8 times 37 plus 32 is 98.6. That's more like it. 98.6. Okay, so you could go ahead and work on the one-step conversion practice questions that are here. There's a whole bunch of them. Keeping in mind that you can just pick you don't have to show both methods, pick one. I would highly recommend that you practice a little bit with the conversion fractions because that's what you're probably going to have to do in the next section.